Hi, I'm Marilyn O'Malley, intuitive and life mastery coach, and this is part 3 of the part 5 for Create a Life You Love. Part 1 was all about what is it that you're really desiring to create the life you would love. Part 2 is why is that important to you? And so part 3 actually has 2 parts. One is when. When do you want to create this by? And the second part is what do you need to have, learn, or skills or education, training that has to take place for you to achieve, create what it is that's your vision. So let's start with when. So when is very important, and this helps you create the container for your mind. Your subconscious will help you when it knows there's a deadline. It will work a lot better than when there's no deadline. And also there's like energy that starts to build, and you will give yourself so much more space to not show up if you don't set a deadline. Now here's the tricky part, because you don't necessarily have to have an exact date, but you can have a feeling around the time, and you can have a deadline. Say if you're training for a marathon, there's the day of the marathon. If you are wanting to get married, there's setting the date, for the wedding. Those are givens. But there's other things in life that we can't control, and that we might set a deadline, but it's not right timing with the universe and the law of attraction. But what we can do is we can have an idea of when that is, and this is where the second part will come in. Because what happens is you take this big idea that you have, this vision, this dream that you have, and we chunk it down. And when we chunk it down, then you can set timelines for that process too. So if you were getting married, you would know that you had to arrange the place where you were going to get married. There's a deadline for that, usually like a year before, if you're, or even longer, depending on where you want to get married, who's going to marry you. So setting up those things are more important right away, and there is deadlines to those if you want to create it the way you want, that you would take care of. And also there would be in that chunking down, you give yourself room to grow rather than to always be looking so far ahead that it feels so out of reach and you lose interest or it seems overwhelming. Where when we chunk it down and we give ourselves time frames to do something, the mind actually loves that. It loves it. There's a novelty, there's growth, there's excitement about it, there's energy behind it that's very uplifting. So that really can benefit you. And then you have these little successes which are very encouraging, it starts to build your confidence and will take you further and keep you going, rather than just having that big vision, the timeline, and not having things broken down. So what do I mean by trainings and learnings and what needs to be in place? And so let's give you an example. Let's say your why, where you want your business to get more exposure, and you want to be out there more. So you want to be seen and heard. You really are ready to come out in your business. So if we chunk that down, one of the things that you might have a training in would be public speaking. So that could be on your list. That might be something you do right away. and then it can set up so that then you can start going out in the community and sharing what you're doing in a bigger and broader way. You might want to make videos like here. You could go take a training course, or you could teach yourself off of YouTube and their instructions about how to do this. And then and you can say, okay, in the next 2 weeks, I am learning how to make videos. And you, again, break it down and you give yourself a time frame, and then you practice and practice, and you say, by the end of June, I will have my first video out in the public. I'll post it on Facebook. So you will go through and learn the whole process of that. Or it might be that you don't know how to use social networking, and so you give yourself the opportunity for this next week. I am going to learn how to Facebook, and I'm going to go out there and I'm going to read up on it. I'm going to ask friends for help, or your child who can do it very well, and you're going to be in the process of doing that. And then the next week might be you have a website, so you can write blogs, and it might be that you haven't been doing anything with that. So again, you research, what are the best types of blogs? Should I write a long blog? Should it be a short blog? Should I make videos for my blog? And then doing it. So committing to, okay, once a week I will write a blog post. And then I can post that on Facebook, so all these things start to add up. In 6 months, you have so much more exposure. Actually, probably in the first month, you're going to have a lot more exposure, being seen and being heard. Another example would be health-wise. So let's say your whys for what it is that you want is to be vibrant and strong and sexy. So you might chunk all of that down to, okay, you're going to start off taking a dance class with your friends or your partners, so something once a week that's just really fun. You get to get dressed up, it makes you feel sexy, you're moving your body, you're burning calories, and it feels good. And that just, then that vibrance of doing that just, lights you up energetically. You might also decide, okay, now you're going to make healthy choices for food. And so what does that look like? If you don't know anything about healthy foods, then it might be taking some classes, researching online. What is it that you need? You might find out you have allergies and you're, have a gluten intolerance. So, educating yourself, asking for help, going out and finding those resources that can really support you in achieving your goal. You might get a personal trainer and work out to get strong and get your body in balance and start building your confidence about how you feel, which will reflect that vibrancy, that feeling of sexiness. Those are some examples, and I hope this helps, and share with us what it is that you're up to, what it is that you're desiring, because when you share, then we get to support you. We get to hold the space of what you're wanting to create. And you can share your whys, and you can share what you're doing, and so we can cheer you on. And if you need any help and would like any accountability and any coaching on this, and you're not clear about anything, again, make a comment, and I look forward to supporting you in creating a life that you love. Marilyn O'Malley, Intuitive and Life Mastery Coach.